And now that we have an idea of the latest metrics, we want to go ahead and bring in Chuck Todd from Meet the Press with more on how the White House is tackling the circumstances around this new variant. Chuck, thank you for joining us. Here in the Carolinas, we are slowly seeing new Omicron cases pop up. In other cities, it's multiplying by the day. How is the Biden administration handling the spread of Omicron?
Well, it was interesting today at their briefing. You heard a different tone, and I think this is a little bit influenced on politics and the exhaustion, which is you heard Jeff Zients talk about, look, they don't want to punish the vaccinated for having done the right thing. And so it's not about shutdowns. It's not about keeping people from traveling. If you've been responsible, you wear a mask in crowded places, you've gotten vaccinated, and now if you're eligible, you've gotten boosted. You know, they're trying to basically say, look, with precautions, use precautions, but live your life. It's the unvaccinated that they're worried, and the unboosted, because that's another part of this. It does feel as if Omicron, if you haven't been boosted and you have the waning vaccine after that 6-month mark here, that the hospitals are just going to get overwhelmed, because you also still have Delta circulating, particularly in the northern states. And of course, the flu has been much worse this year than it was last year. So you put all three there, and you have an exhausted healthcare workforce, right? Yeah. So that's the concern. It seems like they were just begging people, please, if you're not going to get vaccinated, please wear a mask at a minimum, because it's pretty clear, the doctors I've talked to, they think it really spreads fastest, through the nose. Well, wear a mask, and don't wear it as a chin strap if you do wear a mask.
Yeah, and we're already seeing the NFL tightening restrictions, even postponing a game this afternoon because of COVID cases here locally. We see Duke basketball on its third scheduled opponent because they had to cancel Broadway shows, shutting down because of positive cases as well. Is the Biden administration ready for another big spread that causes potentially major shutdowns, or are we isolating this to people who are not vaccinated? How will that look, or is there any indication how that might look?
Well, I think we got a hint of what they're trying to get to, which is this policy of what they called for schools testing to stay, right? And, I'm sure, my kids have been contact traced. Somebody will test positive, and then as long as they test negative, the school they go to, they can go to school. And they want to try to make that the standard throughout schools, because what does that do? It's about doing what you can to keep things going, right, to avoid the shutdowns. I'll tell you, I do think there isn't, the sports world and the Broadway community, they've put all these protocols in. In some ways, their announcements that they're having to either delay, or postpone things, in some ways that could sometimes serve as a better alarm system than having the government do it. Because I think if more people say, oh, that game's been canceled, boy, this thing has gotten a little more serious than I thought, maybe I should put my mask on. So in an odd way, there's upside when you see other private entities having to take these extra precautions.
Yeah, I know some people say when they start messing with football, that's where I draw the line. Chuck, thank you. Always a pleasure. Appreciate you. All right, you can catch more with Chuck on Meet the Press this Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on WCNC Charlotte.